Good morning, everyone. Thank you for watching again. Welcome to Let's Keep the Ball Flying tradition sunrise sessions on location. We got Let's Keep the Ball Flying Ambassador Kimberly here, and of course, Melina Terrell, an early bird since the beginning of Let's Keep the Ball Flying. Let's get into it. Opening up, Kimberly, we started this journey, 1% movement, making the Gear Up Rise Up project possible here in the Philippines. You were one of the first ambassadors joining that campaign. How was that for you, combined to making a decision to stop with the national team?
It was a real honor for me to be part of something so big. I played national team now for 9 years, and in these years I collected a lot of experience on the court. So in the past years, every summer I made an jersey auction, and the money that I got I gave away to projects in Africa, for instance. But I felt like I really want to give more, and I want to be part of what makes a change happen. And so when you asked me about the 1% campaign, I was in right away because I know that 1% salary of us is not making a big difference in our life, but it can make such a big difference in this lives of the kids. So I'm really grateful that you asked me and that I took the opportunity. But now being here and actually see where the money goes to see what kind of impact we can have, it's just the most precious gift that I got. And especially now after retiring from national team, going on this trip and just experience 6 days of just joy, laughter, and so much love. It's just something that I will never forget in my life. And just yesterday we finished our trip, and one guy added me on Instagram and sent me a long message how grateful he is that we've been there, that we shared the time. And he voiced that more than the material gift that we share and give, our gear, volleyballs, whatever, he said about that, more what he appreciated is actually the time that we had together, that we can connect together, bond together, and just being. And I think this is every time a reminder for me, because at one moment yesterday I was thinking, oh, I hope we can give even more, like maybe we can do this or that. But then at the end, it's just about being there, being present, and just play with them, even if it's just like sitting down like us now, sitting and talking about experiences, sharing what my world looks like out of their world. And I think all of this is actually where my purpose lays, because I really want to go out and spread volleyball all over the world. And so I'm so grateful that I met you too. Yeah, seriously, just realizing that also Let's Keep the Ball Flying brought me this amazing people. I'm so grateful, and everything happens for a reason. If I wouldn't go on your Instagram site a year ago and see Let's Keep the Ball Flying in Tanzania and everything, I would never reach out to you. And just having all these lovely people in my inner circle now gives me so much. And so, yes, I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, that gives goosebumps always.
Really good inside.
It's so beautiful to see how the sport just makes connections all over the world.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful bridge to you, Mali. You have been with us since the beginning of Let's Keep the Ball Flying, being one of our longest sitting ambassadors here, having been to the refugee project, having been to Africa, now being here in Asia, becoming one of my closest friends in the journey. And tell us what that means for you. And
Oh man, where to start? I mean, that was 2022, right? Our first trip in Greece. And I mean, I kind of expressed this journey back when we had that conversation in Tanzania, when we were in Moshi. How I got started with Lesley. I mean, I was actually playing in Greece, and Ryan reached out, my agent, and was like, hey, like there's this organization that's gonna be in Greece this year. I wanna connect you with them if you're interested in, visiting, a community of refugees there and coaching volleyball camps. And of course I was interested in that, because little do a lot of people know is 5 years prior to that, I was sending gear to communities in Tanzania already. And that was through another volleyball player who was already giving, you know, because he was sponsored by Mizuno Volleyball Europe, and he was sending shoes, and I just saw what he was doing. He was being an example of what it means to be an athlete who's giving back and pouring back into different communities around the world. And I remember commenting like, oh, I'd love to do that, and he sent me their address. And I was playing in Finland at the time, I gathered a bunch of shoes from the men's league and women's league. I got about 6 nets and some volleyballs, and I had my own little community back at home, and I did a private GoFundMe. I was like, hey guys, I don't have a lot of money, but this is what I want to do. If you guys could help out. I mean, old mentors, old coaches, my parents, family, other family members, and they donated, and I sent all of that stuff down to Tanzania, to Dar es Salaam. And I was just connected with them over the years, like doing whatever I could to save clothes and, you know, get gear from my teammates from wherever I was that season and send them down. And so I told Lesley that whole story, and he just was like, Marlena, like, you're exactly the person that we want in an organization like this. Like, we're going to Tanzania this summer, come with us. And it was just like the stars just aligned. And
Because you haven't been there,
I
right?
hadn't been there, and I had like a plan. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna come down. I mean, I didn't meet any of these people, but people like Jeffrey and David and Nyeke, like, we were in communication, and they were just like, you know, we would love for you to come. And I just was, you know, figuring out how was I gonna get there. I needed to save money, I needed to find the time. How do I balance that with going home? And you know, this was a year after, like 2 years after COVID and all of that. So it just all happened right in front of my eyes, and I committed. And one thing that's been interesting, I have to say, leading up to every trip that we've been on, from Greece to Tanzania to Bali with Kimberly, it was just us two. A lot of people don't know, like, Bali was the first time Kimberly and I actually met. I know a lot of people think that, like, oh my God, they look like best friends, they've been together forever. And
After the first day we met,
yeah,
people asked us, oh, how long do you know each other? We're like, 24 hours?
Yeah, like,
They were like, no way.
so, and then I'll go back, like meeting Lesley, like first time when he came to Greece before we went over to Lesbos, like instant connection. You know, I believe that people's souls just connect automatically, and those people are meant to be in your life for a reason. And so leading up to every trip, from Greece to Tanzania to Bali, even this trip here in the Philippines, there was always something happening in my life personally. And you know, when we go through things and life gets fast and things are happening, it can get really, really tough, you know, emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. But when you find your tribe and you do something as powerful as this, you know, volleyball is bringing us all together, the love and passion that we have for the game. But not only that, the love and passion to have an impact on the world and provide equal opportunity for everybody in some way, shape, or form. And it may not be financial, but it's through equipment that we can bring these kids, showing them ways on how they can create a way to play without nets, without actual balls. And that's everything that we were able to do in this trip specifically. And you know, what we can show them on an emotional level, on a loving and friendship level. And as much as we're giving to them, it's so rewarding for all of us. As much as we're giving to them, we're getting also so much more from within ourselves, and we're learning more about ourselves. We're brought back down to earth, you know, we're grounded. And so for me, that's been the most rewarding thing, is at the end of every trip, it might take you a month to process a trip of 6 days, 2 months, maybe even a year, because so much happens. You know, you see so many things that you don't see every day. It takes you out of your own reality, out of your own everyday perspective of life, and it brings you to a whole different reality. And it just brings you back to a place of, what is John saying? Gratitude. That's what we were talking about last night.
having this sunshine shining light right now, right in it.
Yeah.
And I hear you react to that. Did you guys have any tough moments for yourself in this trip?
I think for me personally, it was the first time with big group going on an adventure. Let's keep the ball flying. So everything was new for me. Last year it was a little bit more intimate with just Mali and going from one club to the other. There, I remember that one of the biggest realization I had was when we visited the second camp and we were on one court with over 30 boys and just 5 boys. And Guru, the coach there, said like, we were huddling up and he was like, okay guys, what are we gonna do today? And we were like, wait, you want us to do the practice? But that's what it's all about, right? They're aiming on, like they just reach out for this knowledge that we provide, and just the experience that we have is so much for them. So it was tough to realize that they have so little, but then looking in their faces and just seeing them smiling and their eyes are glowing, was one of my first big lessons that I had in Bali. And now this year, I think being in this big group, going from one location to the other in 6 days, like seriously, I think it takes me a while to process everything, because it feels like you did something in a month that you just pushed in 6 days. And I remember the last 2 days, I was really, really tired emotionally, because you give so much. You just want to be present, you want to seek every moment. And every time when we have our routine at the evening, when you ask us about our favorite moment, I could say 10 favorite moments, because every day there are little things that happen with interaction with the kids that are just so remarkable. And I think in the last day especially, I was really like tired, and I was just thinking, okay, but I'm here for the kids, and it wouldn't be fair to them just because they have the last day to not for me to give 100% to them. So. And then it was just the beginning. As soon as you are in, as soon as you are with the kids, the energy comes back, and this was something where I realized we can always give more. And what the kids want and need, we can always provide. It doesn't matter where we are in the world, how much we have, just being there is so much for them. So I think this was some nice realization as well, this trip.
I love how you created this special dance, volleyball dance, with just every day.
It's gonna go viral. That's gonna hit the world.
If anybody was tired, we would just have to do the dance, and boom, energy back. That was magical for me. I loved it.
I love to see how everybody was enjoying it, and they had fun with each other, teasing each other. So yeah, it's actually a good symbol for what we want to provide, like having fun, having some volleyball movements, and just having this big community together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a movement, the KD Cha-Cha movement, like challenge. We need to make a challenge.
Yes, please.
So what about you, Mali? I know that this week was tough for you since you came in from a difficult weeks.
Yeah.
Big respect, Janisa, where we've spent our New Year's together.
Yeah.
Not being here with us anymore and entering a trip like this is not easy.
No. Not only that, you know, it was an interesting, like, personal volleyball season for me, coming from, I had to have a small operation in January. That was the first time that I'd ever had any kind of surgery. So, you know, and I got through that fairly easily, just because, I don't know, I'm that girl that knows that I'm strong and I can get through stuff physically. And, you know, there's not much that keeps me down. But there's no toolkit on how to grieve anybody, whether it's a family member, a pet, or a best friend. And all of that was going on within the last, you know, month. And so it was, okay, how do you navigate grief? And also, okay, I've got to go on this trip and give my all to this because of how big this is, this toolkit, and what we're doing for the volleyball community, and I'm somebody that gives, when I do something, I'm giving everything in me, all my energy, all my love and passion. So that was difficult because you want to put on the best face that you can, as genuine as you can, because you want to mean it. And of course I mean every smile, every laughter, like none of that is ever gonna be fake from me. But then you also have to give yourself moments, and when you're in an amazing group of people full of so much love, you want to bask in that. You want to be in the middle of that all the time. But there's moments where it can get a little bit exhausting, and that social battery can run out. And there was moments where it ran out fast, and then I'm like, how can I recharge myself quickly? And I accept hugs, of course, but there's moments where you have to take a second. And so there was a moment that I took the other morning when we were in our last location full of just rice fields. I got up earlier than my roommates, and I took a walk, and I just sat down, and I looked at the beauty around me, and then some things just kind of set in, and then you have to allow yourself to have those moments, whether you have to cry, whether you have to pray. It doesn't matter, what it is you need to do. You have to take that time for yourself, because if you just give and don't recharge at all, it will deplete you so much. And I even had some other health challenges here. I got sick the first day we were here. The first day we had in our first location, we were all day with the kids playing and demonstrating, which was great to be involved in John's demonstrations and be an example. And by midday, after lunch, is when I was like, oh, something's not feeling right. My head was hurting, my stomach was terrible, but I was just pushing through. And I remember after I was sitting down, and Lesley was like, we're gonna have to give our girls some, a boost, a power. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need it. I almost started crying there because I was feeling just so weak. But I pushed through, and then yesterday was really sad I couldn't be involved with the group for the final day, for the last dance, because I then got some eye infection. I hope they're looking okay now. And it just was painful, and it sucked. But again, a reminder that you have to give yourself time, and sometimes you have to take that road to just be like, I gotta sit out today. And so that was a bummer, but in the end, we got everything we needed to get done. And that makes me feel so happy, because I know how hard you've been working on this. You've put your whole life and energy and soul into this. This has been your baby for so many years. And it's like, you got the people you got here to help you get this done. And despite the hardships and tough moments, it's been so worth it this week to be a part of this. So
it's been an absolute magical trip, as always, and massive shout out to, the group here is not just a normal group, it's everybody that has been involved from the beginning till the end, and it's growing and it's moving and it's going more intense by the year that we're here. And for me, look around.
yeah.
Give this a second. We're talking here this direction, but what's happening behind us is just, if we look to all the sunrise sessions that we had in this trip, that's just mind-blowing. And I would love to shine a last light on your favorite moment this week here in the Philippines. And I know there are, John taking that nose whistle and doing the national anthem.
The hot spring adventure.
Eating dinner with no electricity, no internet, in the complete darkness, or walking over those rice paddies in the thunderstorm.
Oh my God.
Soaked.
Didn't know if we were gonna make it.
So many moments to pick, from the kids, the personal interactions, the giving, the taking as well, what rewards here, and the interactions with the people. But if you would choose just one, like I know that's very, very tough, but
Do
I
you have
might.
one already?
You know?
you know me.
You're always last.
I go on the flow. I really have no in my mind right now. I have thousands right now. What's the first one that come up?
I think the first one is 2 days ago. At the end of the day, when a little girl, she was 8 years old, she sat next to me and she said, "I wish I had a gift for you, but my gift for me to you is having a good time." And I think this is just making the perfect picture of the whole trip, because I was like, thank you, that's the best gift you can ever give me back. Like, it's just a symbol of all the days that we experienced here. And again, now I repeat myself, they don't need much, they just need us to be present and they will have a great time. Or when the school director said she would have never seen her kids smiling like this. And I think all of these sentences and just seeing it, like fully meaning it, I think this is something that will always stay with me. And I think everybody on this trip has some experience they take for a lifetime, like some memories they take for a lifetime. And I think this is a good symbol, like what the little girl said. Really wise, young lady. Yes.
Man, well, her moment kind of brings me to another moment. It's kind of connected. There was one of the, I can't remember if she wasn't the principal, but maybe one of the parents or teachers. And we're walking at the end of the session and she was asking like, are you guys gonna be able to leave, you know, at least one ball or two? And like Lesley was like, yeah, we're gonna leave 10. And she was like, really? Like she was so shocked that we were gonna leave 10 balls behind. And just to see her like shocked and excitement, like that was really, really nice for me. And it just, again, it puts a lot of things into perspective, because how many balls you and I have had in our career, you know, in the gyms. Like how many balls are our team, you know, like 30, you're counting at the end of practice, you got 30. We're missing one, and how long we gotta take to find one ball that they're stressing about.
And every day one ball goes over a cliff and they're like, okay, next.
Yeah, here. And one kid runs down to go get it in 2 seconds.
Goat. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mountain goat.
Yeah.
And then even, there was another time where we told them that we were gonna give them all shirts. And they all were like, whoa, started clapping, because it's like, they feel a part of something. You know, they feel a part of it, and we are including them. We're bringing them into this movement, and they feel that. And so, yeah, I guess it's any moment where you get to see how grateful they are to receive something. And again, it's not even just about the things that we're bringing, it's the energy and the love and just the environment that we bring to them. And so those are the greatest moments for me, is when you see how grateful they are and the joy in their eyes in every moment that happens.
Amazing. For me, it's one extra small thing besides having all the connections and having you guys here and the whole group spending that power of volleyball connecting people. There's one very special moment for me in this trip, and that's John Kessel, like spending his whole life, 71 years old right now, had a stroke in November. Being cleared for this trip, because he, even if he was not cleared, I am sure he was here. And all the stories he shared with us individually, all his legacy putting on camera and making that accessible all over the world for free. That for me is just pure magic. The heart of this man, my heart killed sometimes having to pull him up out of the rice field. Oh.
Like, oh, storm, where's John? In the middle of the court, like doing something.
I catched him sleeping on the ground in the middle of the court. But to have him here with us and to share all of that and to be not only a dad figure for our group,
Yeah.
but I think that his knowledge and his legacy are going to impact the rest of the world for many, many years ahead.
Oh, yeah.
And tomorrow we're gonna see him together with his son at the VNL in the Philippines to wrap up this trip. And you know what? These three people in front of us here behind the cameras, they have been doing such an amazing job capturing all the moments, and I invite you to see all of that in the upcoming days after watching this video. And a big, 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 massive heart and gratefulness to everyone being involved and making this movement grow and spread the power of volleyball all over the world. Thank you for being with us, and I say one more time, ciao for now. See you in the next one, and let's keep the ball flying.